Have you noticed that when two people are having an argument, nobody's listening? Both of them are arguing and talking. But when you have a third person listening, both attentions are directed to that one person because they're trying to win the person over.
Yes.
So the person is quiet, just looking at them, and both the two people arguing are talking to this person because they're trying to win the person over. Now, who is the most important person in the room? Self-confidence is not being loud. A lot of people feel that when I'm assertive, when my voice is the loudest in the room, when I'm the first to talk, I am
Very
confident and all of that. But a lot of times, it actually signifies insecurity. Because if you're always trying to be the one that's right, you're always trying to raise your voice, everybody's talking in a room, in a meeting, and you want your own point to be heard, and you talk so much, and people start to withdraw from you, and they start to get the vibe that is this person trying to prove a point or something? So, being loud does not help. You can actually be a quiet person and be extremely confident. There are cases where you're having a meeting and the most quiet person in the room is actually the most powerful. The person listens to everybody's comments and then makes his own comment, and everybody says, whoa, and they clap. Now, the person doesn't have to shout to make a point. Now, have you noticed that when two people are having an argument, nobody's listening? Both of them are arguing and talking. But when you have a third person listening, both attentions are directed to that one person because they're trying to win the person over.
Yes.
So the person is quiet, just looking at them, and both the two people arguing are talking to this person because they're trying to win the person over. Now, who is the most important person in the room? The person that's quiet. So a lot of times, it's not about the energy you put in and the fact that you shout. It's good to put in energy if it's coming from a true position of confidence. But if you're trying to put yourself out there so that people see you as being confident, but indeed you're not, there's a possibility to overdo it. When someone is talking authoritatively about something and talking about in a group and all of that, and there's just someone sitting down there just watching, this person talking starts to think in his mind, could it be that this person knows about the topic more than I do? All of a sudden, he starts to tone down a little and start to get on a safe ground, supposing it's wrong. All right? Because in his mind, he's careful. And actually, even the Bible agrees with this. In the book of Proverbs, it said, when a fool keeps quiet, he's thought to be wise. So one way to appear wise is to keep quiet. Because when you don't know what to say, just be quiet. Now, nobody holds you responsible for being quiet. But if when you say the wrong thing, oh my God, you're likely to get into trouble for it. So, confidence has to do with you just mastering yourself. It's not about how loud you speak or, how much you put yourself out there. Now, some people enter a room and the first place they go is the front to go and sit, or they just look for a very nice seat and go and sit there. It does not mean that you are more confident than any other person in the room. It's just your own way of saying, hey, I'm here. Everybody pay attention. All right. Now, it is not wrong to go and sit in front, particularly when you have been appointed to sit there when it is your place. Everybody expects to be there. But you see, there are people in the society who want to be recognized, and they try to position themselves in places where they can actually be recognized.
Okay.
The point is, if you don't deserve the recognition, you won't get it.
Sure.
So the fact that you're positioning yourself does not necessarily mean that you get it. But if you have the recognition, even if you sit at the back of the room, they will come and pick you from there and take you to the place you rightly belong. I have noticed that there are some students in class that when they stand up to speak, everybody starts to laugh. And people say, oh my God, you're here again. And I noticed that it may have been that at some point the person has said one or two things that people consider stupid. And the person does not stop speaking about it. So when the person stands, everybody says, oh God, you're here again. Now, what happens is that it psychologically affects the person speaking. Because the feedback is that if the person is not careful, you will withdraw and you won't speak again. Because in your mind, the moment you stand, people start to say, what does he want to say this time? So you want to actually really think before you speak. In my own opinion, if you're in a group, once somebody has said something, there is no point repeating it.
Okay.
to say, okay, you raise your hand and then they call you, say, actually, what I want to say is close to what the previous speaker said. So why are you speaking? Okay, fine. I just want to repeat what the person has said. You don't have to. So the only time you speak is when you find out that they have spoken about several things and there's a gap.
Okay.
You key into that gap, you seem very intelligent because you have been able to call their attention to what people have not. You see, by the time you do that once or twice, even when you don't speak in meetings and you're quiet, they will ask you, so what do you have to say about what we're talking about? Because they know that you contribute intelligently.